everyone, it's David from Maximum Gaming Retro. I'm here with Russell from Grimster Gaming. And today we're just, I don't know what to say.
we're just bullshitting about shit. This is the first podcast that we've done together, kind of a collaboration, so...
Yeah, he came and checked out my game room, so that video is going to be posting up. I'll probably put a link here in the description or something.
Yeah, we filmed a game room tour. It was really cool. Hopefully I'll get it up on my channel within a week or so, but editing is, it's a bitch, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, why don't you give us a rundown of your gaming history?
All right.
Get started.
Well, I've got kind of a long gaming history. It started when I was young. The first system I can ever remember is having the Atari 2800.
Nice.
It was actually my dad's, and I just played the basic Space Invaders, Asteroid, a couple other games. Not really, kind of fuzzy. I was really young then, but then the first real system that was actually mine was the NES.
Okay, cool.
And picked that up, and the games that I always had is I had Mario 1, I had Mario 2, never had Mario 3, always wanted it. Some other games, there was, I know this is a crappy game, but that Dash Galaxy game, have you ever played that?
No, I don't think I'm familiar
Actually,
with
when
that
I picked it up, it's not that great of a game, but I played the shit out of that game. Another one called Gyrus.
Okay.
Played a lot of regular Nintendo until got the Super Nintendo. And I think that was the last system that my parents bought me. And until then, there was kind of a dry spell from the Super Nintendo until the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
I went on and got the PlayStation 1. I was a PlayStation guy all the way through PlayStation 2. Then I switched with 360, kind of more of a Microsoft guy now. However, guys, still have a lot of love for the PS4. It's an awesome system. Not saying anything bad about it. I just like Microsoft's controller and their exclusives better. Don't kill me. You don't eat me in the comments for this.
Yeah, I think most people on my channel know I'm a PlayStation guy.
Yeah, and you know, my cousin is, and that's cool, man. I love No Man's Sky, even though they promised us like 50% more game, those fuckers. I mean, Shovel Knight's awesome. I mean, Uncharted. I mean, PlayStation's got a great library. It's an awesome system, but I can't live without my Gears. I mean, Quantum Break was okay. I was expecting a little bit more out of that. The controller is the main thing for me, I'd have to say. So I'm solidly in the Xbox camp as far as that is concerned. I buy all my multi-plats for the Xbox One, and then the only thing I really utilize my PS4 for is the exclusives.
Yeah.
So I had been kind of collecting my whole life. I never really throw anything away, but it's been about 3 years that I really dedicated an entire room and just kind of went all out with gaming. And that's just kind of my story there. And since then, it's just been getting bigger and bigger and harder to manage, but it's fun doing it.
That's always a problem.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I started my YouTube channel about maybe like 2.5 years ago. And it's steadily growing, and I mean, the whole reason I'm here is we did a game room tour with you and see how that new series goes, kind of collaborations with other YouTubers, so that's kind of the idea behind it. And I mean, that's basically what it is. My favorite retro system, I'd have to say, it would be it's really close between the NES and the Super because those are both childhood systems, but I guess the NES is slightly edged out because there's so many more games that I have nostalgia for.
Right.
But I mean, that's pretty much it. I do have some embarrassing things, like I've never played a Saturn before. I've never even touched a controller, although I have a Saturn now. JP Styles sent me one. YouTuber, guys, check out his channel. It's really cool. It's from Australia. JP Styles 85. But he sent me one, and it doesn't have cords yet, so as soon as I get the cords, I'm going to check it out. It's always been kind of like a really mystery system to me.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually played a Saturn either.
I don't even have a GameCube. That's probably the next system I'm going to get. I never had a GameCube growing up.
Yeah, me neither.
So it's very foreign to me. So it wasn't a huge, like, I got to get the GameCube now. The NES was actually the first retro console I got. And then a couple of the consoles I have are leftovers from when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else that I can say.
You said you were playing Final Fantasy V right now.
Yeah, well, correction, I was playing Final Fantasy V. Well, I intend on picking it back up, but since No Man's Sky came out, I've been addicted to that, even though my interest is starting to wane on it. And then we have Titanfall, which everyone knows the sequel's coming out soon, which is going to be a multi-plat, which is awesome because you guys on the PlayStation side definitely deserved that kind of game because I love the shit out of the first one. You can pick it up so cheap now too. It's awesome. Anything with like mechs, robots, things like that, I'm there. Space, I'm there.
Yeah.
But when I do finish or get tired of playing those games, I will go back to Final Fantasy V. And I actually have been playing it on the PS2. I don't have a PS1 hooked up just to kind of save space.
Works. Yeah. I mean, I've been playing mostly on my PS2 as well because my PS1s, as most people have known from my channel, the disc drive doesn't work so well, right? Most of the PS1s always have some sort of disc reading problem, and it's really hard to get a console that works with them. I know they've got multiple models, and the later models do a better job of reading discs, but I've gotten to the point where I've basically been playing on my PS1 games on my PS2 because that's just got a better disc drive.
And they're bricks too.
Yeah.
My dogs actually ran and yanked my PS2 right out of there, smashed it. I thought it was done. You gotta give it a little, time, but it still works. It's crazy, yeah. And one thing about those PS1 discs, you could scratch the shit out of those and they still work.
Yeah,
that's something I miss.
They've got an extra layer on them to protect them. That's why it's like the black cover or whatever.
I always dug that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured it was just something to kind of make themselves look different so you could automatically identify a PlayStation 1 disc. But I think why not bring that back? That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing the PlayStation always did is really... what I like about Sony is they're always really careful about protecting their systems and their discs and everything. They make them really durable so they last.
Well, I hear Blu-rays are a lot more durable than DVDs.
Yes, sir.
I've experienced that. Yeah, it's no skips or anything yet.
Right.
Or whatever it is that they do now, but
yeah, because the Blu-ray they have multi-layers and they store the data inside the layers because the laser is stronger nowadays.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the blue laser is stronger than a red laser, so they just penetrate the layers of the disc and then read from the inside. So if the outside gets scratched, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you about, and this would probably be a good topic, is what is your opinion on physical media?
I like physical media. I know a lot of people really like going and downloading games, and I've got quite a number of games downloaded too. I was with PlayStation Plus, I got a lot of free games, and my PS3 hard drive is full of games that they gave me for free, which I really like. But I've always been big on collecting physical things.
Yeah, same here.
The collectors, I mean, everyone knows from my game room tours and everything, I love collector's editions. I love the statues. I love, all the cool things that they give you with the system of the games. And, yeah, I mean, you don't really get that with the digital stuff.
No, I try to avoid digital at all costs. I even don't like doing DLC sometimes. If I can find a DLC on a disc, I'd rather that. Because... yeah, I'd rather have it in my hand. You can put it in your shelf.
Yeah.
I like to look at it. I mean, that might be something small, but, that's my feeling. And another thing is, who says in 20 years that you're going to be able to download a copy if you need it? Or even have something that can do that? Do you think an Xbox One will connect to the internet and even in 10 years? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're going to ditch that shit pretty quick.
I don't know. That's one of the big debates going on right now. I know that... there are people, especially I think it's the Smithsonian. They've now got like a museum section for video games, and a lot of. I think the Library of Congress is starting to do.
I think I heard something
games.
like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Somebody is preserving all the old games from the old systems digitally.
Yeah, someone's
in like an archive. So
I mean, eventually that's just going to rot away.
Yeah,
we're not going to have it anymore.
Right. So. I mean, what some people have been predicting is that we're just going to have them all available on demand at some point. You're just going to get a system, and you can go back through the catalog and say, what do you want to play, and then play Pac-Man on whatever system.
I'm just worried about we're at 2016, and internet still sucks. I mean,
yeah, that's the biggest hurdle right now.
Yeah, and in hard drive space, I know 2 terabytes is better than the 500 that they first gave us, but even 2 terabytes is going to fill up really quick. And it's just not as satisfying to see a list of games versus just running your hand across the... I just love that.
One of my favorite things to do is, it's like with the whole fridge mentality. You sit in front of the fridge and you open up and you see what's there. And, I do that with my games. I'm like, what do I want to play today? And I'll just stare in front of my giant collection and I'll be like, that. Whatever pops out to you. So, and that's one of those things where if you're scrolling through a list on a console, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same at all. I mean, I am disappointed that very rarely do you ever get anything just besides a disc in there.
That's true.
I would like to see like instructions or
Oh yeah,
something besides an
right.
advertisement for their DLC they want to sell us.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of companies are trying to retro. Well, like have you heard of limited run games?
I actually haven't.
They are a group that's trying to take games that are mostly digital only and bring them onto a disc and package them with a game manual and all this stuff.
I like them already.
Yeah, they've already done it. They have a pretty big partnership with Sony, and they've done because a lot of people want the physical medium games for the Vita, and one of the biggest things with the Vita is most of their games are digital only. They only put them on the system on the PSN because it's cheaper, I guess, than making all these games.
Right.
And a lot of the games are smaller, and the system really supports indie developers, and indie developers don't have the funds to put them all on disc. So Limited Run Games is partnered with games like Octodad, and I don't know, most of them are indie, and I don't really know them all that well, but yeah, they do a really great job, and people love them.
It sounds great. I mean, that's definitely a demand for that because a lot of download-only games like Shovel Knight, I never played it because it wasn't out on physical media. So when it did come out, I picked it up.
They're working on that. Apparently, I think it's just coming to the Vita now, physical. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I want to pick that up.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. I mean, it's not the best game I ever played, but definitely worth. I think I ended up getting it for like $8 for that Gamers Club Unlocked and stacking shit at Best Buy.
Yeah.
I believe I did a video on that where I picked up No Man's Sky and that game, and I got it for cheaper than you could buy a regular game for. It's just it's nuts, man. But do you think that consoles are going to have a disk drive? I think they will for at least the next generation. I think the Scorpio will.
Yeah. I mean, what they say is that only half of the entire country has high-speed internet, and I'm pretty sure most companies know that there are a lot of people without high-speed internet, and that physical medium's definitely not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be probably, the 20-30% people that get everything download only, but for everybody else, there's either they don't have the connection speed, or they have like a download limit. They have like a limiter to how much data
most places regulate that. I think it's like 500 gigs, and I mean when a game is easily the game is 50 gigs, and then patches, sometimes 20 gig patches. Like, come on,
you fill that up pretty quick.
Oh yeah, and then you start retarding your speed, and you don't want that.
Yeah, with definitely with Netflix and your constant connection to the internet, you're draining your data really fast, and buying a game, you can lose your data really quick.
And who knows if, let's say, some reason Microsoft or Sony decide, hey, we're getting out of the games business. How are you going to get your games? Like, I don't understand people's mentality when it comes to that. Oh, look at all these downloadable games I have. Yeah, but if any of those companies go out of business, or their servers go down, or anything, or if they just decide they don't want to give it to you, because when you read the fine print, it actually doesn't belong to you. You're leasing it. So they can take it away for any reason.
Right.
It's no. Yeah. Come to my house and try to take that. Bullshit. Ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of people who are prepared for that and trying to make sure that games are available somewhere in a server and backed up all over the place, so that it never happens. So
I mean, I hope that does happen, but I can't count on it
until
it does. Until it does, and even then, I'm still going to buy physical media, man. I can't. I can't do it.
Sometimes, digital is the only way to get things, and I've gotten to the point where I'm okay with it. Especially with the Vita, I've got the memory cards. But if I can get it physically, I definitely will. It's my preferred method.
It's the way to go.
Yeah.
Plus, you can get better. You can get better sales a lot of times on physical, which sounds backwards. I know Steam has these crazy sales, but if you go on like Xbox or the PSN network, their sales you can't get as quite a good a deal.
That's true.
As you can physical, which is totally weird because you would think physical with all the added cost and everything like that, there's no way you could match it. But
that's true. And what I really like is the last generation consoles, PS3 and Xbox 360. The physical games are so cheap to buy
Okay.
on Amazon, even brand new. Like I got Resistance 2 and 3 and the Infamous collection, all for about $6 or $7 a piece.
Oh wow.
You know, brand new, still sealed. You know, and a lot of those games are still full price on the PSN. Like I know the Infamous collection is like $30 on the PSN. You know,
Especially
so,
right now. Now's the time to pick that stuff
Oh, yeah.
up. GameStop, you can tell, is getting ready to say goodbye to those two systems. I mean,
Yeah.
the areas are just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean,
Well-
they might not even be there. I haven't been in a GameStop in a while.
they're still there, and they're going to keep them until this consoles are no longer being produced. That's usually how it works.
With the 360 is no longer produced.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe when they go offline.
Yeah, that might be a while still, but
I don't see the 360 being on too much longer, but
we'll
see.
I don't know. I think especially Sony's planning on keeping the PS3 on for a long time because there's still a lot of other markets that are still heavy PS3 users.
Oh, okay.
Not so
Yeah,
much PS4.
That's true.
So,
The rest of the world, that's
yeah. So I know they stopped producing the PS3 in New Zealand, but everywhere else in the world they're still coming out, and they still have a high enough monthly sales that it's worth it for them to keep it going for a while.
That's good, man. I remember they started out so horribly with that generation, and they turned it around for sure.
Yeah.
I remember, was it $800 they were wanting for it?
600.
600.
I paid the full 600 for that thing.
Beautiful console. I mean, I like big consoles. The Xbox One, I liked how big it was. The original PS3, I loved it. If something I pay that much money for, I want it to look and feel like it actually costs money. I don't know if it's some kind of light rinky-dink thing. The build quality, I guess, is what it is. Adding weight to it. I know that's not a guarantee, but
That's
just
true.
in my mind,
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like to. That's what I bought my money, and it's you could see it. If the PlayStation 4 was that big and cost the same amount of money, I mean, of course I'm still getting it, but I mean, it just doesn't look as cool, in your setup.
All right.
I'm
yeah.
very about things the way I like to. In my game room, I like things to look a certain way, and I just love the way all the consoles look.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were just little tiny little things, man, I don't know what I'd do if they were like was it the Pies? If they were that size,
Raspberry Pis. Yeah.
Speaking of which, are you going to get that NES, that mini?
Yeah, I was definitely looking into that.
It looks pretty cool, man.
It looks pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, but for sure, man, I like the big consoles, man.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yeah, the nice thing about my PS3 is I've got the 60 gig version.
Okay.
The original one that came out. That one, the first 2 generations were the only ones that were backwards compatible with PS2.
Such a shame they took that out.
Well, that cut the cost. That was the big factor, is that people didn't want to spend the full 600. So they made the new versions with bigger hard drives, but they removed the PS2 emulation system out of it.
Yeah, I heard they just basically stuffed a PS2 in there.
Yeah, that's basically what they did, yeah. Which was nice. So, I mean, I upgraded my hard drive. The PS3 is really easy. It's just the side cover. You just pull out 2 screws and then pull out the hard drive and you put the new one in.
Nice.
So I've got a 500 gig in that thing.
Oh, nice.
And, I mean, I think last I checked, I have 36 PS3 games digitally on there. And then I have my entire 20, 30 games that I bought physically, and I'm still only at 250 gigs full. So I'm at half of my size.
It shows you how much the game size has changed.
Oh, yeah. And that was the biggest thing I was talking about on my latest video.
Oh, yeah.
That going from last generation to this generation, 500 gigs is not good enough.
No. And, the size of the games have increased, too.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen increase in quality, but not corresponding to the size increase. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, one of the biggest things is the not so much for 360, but definitely between PS3 and PS4, is the PS4 now requires you to install the games, where the PS3, there was no installation of the games.
Yeah.
It literally ran off the disc, and nowadays you put the disc in and it just automatically installs.
Because it can't run fast enough off the disc?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the transfer rate between the disc and the system isn't as big. It's too slow to compensate for all the massive
you can do the same thing with the Xbox One. You got to load it up, and it kind of takes some of the excitement out, because you get home with the game and put it in. Okay, there's a 20 gigabyte download patch. Okay, and then I have to load this. So hour and a half later, you finally get to play if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And that's if your internet doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's true. I know that on the 360 initially, most of the games didn't require you to install it. You could to make the game run a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it started requiring them to be installed, I think.
Yeah, stuff got more complex. I mean, the 360 didn't even have a Blu-ray player, so they had to break up a lot of their stuff into 2 discs a lot of times. I remember that.
True. Yeah.
You know, it's because of the DVDs. And
right.
Yeah, those systems last a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine. It's almost hard to fathom that they're still around even after this long and still being supported.
That's true.
And how short this latest one is, because I'm counting the Neo and whatever they decide to call the next Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
That's a new generation. I
yeah.
Sorry, but that's, in my eyes, you're putting out a system that's more powerful, more features, and it's not just a slim. I mean, the Xbox One S is borderline new system because it's got the
4K support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the biggest thing is right now is, are they going to, are they still going to support the older systems with the games? You know, are the games going to require the new systems, or are they going to require the old
they say no one's going to be left behind for Xbox, and I want to believe them. I do. I love Xbox, and Phil Spencer, you're the man for fixing a lot of problems. However, 5 years from now, you have the new Xbox out, and you have the regular Xbox One, not even the S, which doesn't do anything different for games except for high dynamic range. But how are you? I mean, there's going to be game features that you cannot include. It would be the equivalent of like, okay, everything out on the Xbox One right now is also going to have to be out on the original Xbox. I mean, it's going to be a severely gimped game. There's going to be huge amounts of content missing. I mean, at some point, they're going to have to let go.
Right. Well, I mean, they have that problem with the 360 and Xbox One where they had, I wanted to get Forza Horizon 2, but they had cut so many features from the 360 version that it wasn't worth it. You know, it's just more... It's just 10 times better on the Xbox One. So
exactly, you wouldn't want to have the GIMP version. You want to have the superior version.
Right. And then was it Black Ops 3? Apparently didn't. It was either that one or one of the other ones, Call of Duties, that didn't have the single player on the old console version, the PS3 and 360.
Damn, they did that.
Yeah, they made it. It was multiplayer only because I guess they couldn't fit it all on one disc, and they didn't want to spend the money to put multiple discs out. So,
dude, I didn't know about that, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, who?
So, yeah, I mean,
there it is, right there. That's the kind of shit we're gonna run into.
That's the thing that they're gonna really have to think about when they bring out these new systems. Is
don't worry, you're not being left behind. You don't get a first-person story, but we're not leaving you behind.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a joke.
It is.
What a joke.
It is what it is, but that's one of the biggest things that they're definitely gonna have to think about.
Yeah, at some point you gotta let go. I mean,
and who knows at what point that's going to be. Are they going to stretch it out as long as they can? Are they going to say, okay, after 5 years, it's going to be that way, or are they going to just? Are they going to give developers extra money to make sure that the games will be supported on both systems?
If the next Fox hits, I bet you they're going to abandon the other ones like super fast. I mean, if they're instant hits, they're not going to stick around. But if they're slow to catch on, I think they'll try to keep on as long as possible.
Yeah, we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the way it is. So, just some other quick questions.
Sure.
About retro systems. You said you were. Is this your first Final Fantasy, playing Final Fantasy 5, or?
Actually, yes. Yeah, my cousin forever has been trying to get me into it, and I don't know why I started with 5. I picked up some of them at the Game On Expo, and just popped it in, and it's not a bad game. It's just RPGs. It has to be a certain kind of RPG. Like I'm a huge Mass Effect fan.
Okay.
Different kind of game for me, definitely. So. Verdict's still out. See if I'm a Final Fantasy guy.
5 is definitely an interesting one. I find it to be one of the hardest ones because it was a Japanese-only release for a majority of its life until, I don't know when that was, until they put out the anthology.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 4 is an easier to play and it's more story-driven. So that might be enough if you want to get into another one. 4 is probably my recommendation for the best next one. Or if you want to get into the PS1, like 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, my cousin keeps pushing 7 on me, which I guess everyone's favorite.
That's my.
We got the new Final Fantasy coming out, which I'll pick up.
Yeah.
And I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the newer ones aren't that great compared to the older ones.
That's what I've heard too. I'm, looking forward to trying them out and seeing what they are like, but I'm definitely enjoying the older ones while I'm still working on those.
Yeah, it's a cool game. We'll see how many hours I end up putting into it, but I will be coming back to it as soon as my interest is waning for No Man's Sky, but I still can't help but play it. It's repetitive as hell, and a bunch of stuff is missing, but I just, right now, Final Fantasy is suffering because of that.
Yeah.
But definitely, I got Chrono Trigger too. I picked it up.
Nice.
I actually have the anthology. So,
Right. So the anthology is 5 and 6, but I can't remember now what the other one is called, which has 4 and Chrono Trigger on it.
Yeah, I have both of those actually.
Yeah.
I picked those up at the Game On Expo. I figured that'd be the cheapest way to pick them up.
Definitely. Definitely.
Who knows if I'm gonna like them? So
right.
And I'm not spending full money on Chrono Trigger for sorry.
Like $250
exactly.
Just for the cartridge.
Yeah, I'll play it on the PS1. That's all right.
Yeah. It's my goal eventually to get that, but I've actually got Chrono Trigger on the DS.
Okay.
So that's my way of playing it at this point. But
yeah, I think the most valuable game I have is the NES Battletoads Double Dragon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got that one. And it's pretty good condition. It's got a sticker in the center of it. It's just a small one that I've been working on, but it's a hell of a sticker, man.
Oh yeah, stickers.
Yeah.
The people on my channel know about stickers. I made a whole bunch of videos about this.
Yeah, and I've tried numerous things, but it's one of those that leave the really hard. I mean, it's just really tough. Yeah. So I've been going at it really slowly. I mean, it's really small. It takes up very little of the label, but still, something I want to get off of there. But
right.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, like going back to that, I can't believe I've never played one until recently. People look at me like I have 2 heads sometimes.
It's one of those systems that's, a lot of people have missed, and that's definitely why I wanted to go back, because I've only played 7, and I've seen other people play growing up. Obviously, like I said, I didn't have too many systems growing up, but I watched a lot of people play them, and I have a friend who had like 7, 8, 9, 10, and I watched him play all those, and I've had friends all the way back early 90s who had the first couple ones, and I mean,
that's cool, man.
I just wanted to sit down and play them for myself. So
my cousin even I guess there's Final Fantasy Type O. It's on the Xbox. Well, I guess it's on the PS4 too, right?
I think
and I watched him play a little bit of that. I wasn't sure, but
yeah, definitely the older ones are easier, I think, to get into, even though they're the older ones and they're a little bit more difficult, but they have less features, and so it's easier to get the basic core concepts of them. Yeah,
that's a big thing, is the learning curve for me. Is if it's a game that's too complicated at first, it overwhelms me a little bit, and I tend to not want to play it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just the way it is. But once I really get into something like, I was afraid No Man's Sky might be a little too complex, but I mean, actually it isn't. But at first glances, it seems that way, and it almost put me off, and then I stuck with it. So I'm just sticking with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll be getting on some Final Fantasy V.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, we've been running for a while, so I'll go ahead and let you go.
All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you for featuring me on your channel. And anytime, we can definitely podcast or whatever you feel like, man.
All
definitely do some videos.
All right. So where can people find you? On YouTube, it's
Grimster Gaming.
Grimster Gaming. Okay.
Yep.
And you got anything else? Facebook, Twitter?
I do have a Facebook page. Like it if you like. I don't do Twitter. I'm not a big fan of Twitter. I am on, well, actually, I don't know if I even should mention it, Twitch. I do Twitch every once in a while, but my internet's really crappy, so don't expect high quality. And because of that, I don't do it that much. So the main place to find me is on YouTube.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone, for watching, and keep an eye out for that game collection video. And thanks for tuning in.
Game on, guys.
See ya.